The Mongol Empire once ruled over one of the largest land empires in history. They were unstoppable, powerful, and feared. They rode across continents, taking over pretty much everything in their path. But today, what actually remains of all that mighty power? Just empty ruins and dust.
Now I want you to think about something totally different. Picture a scholar writing a book in the city of Baghdad, another one studying it far away in Cordoba, and hundreds of years later, those exact same ideas are shaping modern science. So here's a giant history mystery for you. Which one of those is a real civilization? Is it the massive army with sharp weapons that conquers the land, or the quiet thinkers who build the ideas? Let's dive into this explainer and rethink everything we were taught about history. You know, most of us are taught history as just a list of empires rising and falling. We hear about a ruler, a big battle, and then another ruler. But an empire is actually fundamentally different from a civilization. An empire really just controls land. It relies on military power, and honestly, it's temporary. It can shoot up quickly and crash down just as fast. But a civilization, that shapes how people think, how they learn, and how they live together. It forms a living society that survives for centuries, even long after the kings are gone.
So if we really want to understand history, we have to change the way we look at the world. We need to stop asking which empire was powerful and start asking a much better question: what kind of civilization was being built? We have to shift our focus right past the noisy battles and the dynasties to see the underlying human elements that actually build a lasting world.
To solve this mystery, let me introduce you to our guide. This is the brilliant 14th century thinker and historical detective Ibn Khaldun. More than 600 years ago, he was asking the exact same questions we're asking right now. He looked right past the kings and the wealth to study the living system of human beings. He broke this down into a core academic concept that he called Umren. Umren is basically the living system of society. It's the science of civilization and how humans cooperate. He realized that a civilization isn't just made of stacked bricks or money. It represents the way humans organize their lives together to survive and thrive. He wrote, "Through cooperation, the needs of a number of persons, many times greater than their own number, can be satisfied." Think about it. Humans don't have thick, furry coats for the winter, or sharp claws to hunt, or tough armor. On our own, we're actually pretty vulnerable. Ibn Khaldun realized that because of this, we absolutely must cooperate. We have to share our skills to build society. But what is the secret to this cooperation? He defined it with a word called asabiya. You can think of asabiya as social cohesion, or the secret glue that holds a community together. It's that powerful group solidarity that gives any society the internal strength to rise to power and do amazing things. So, let's look at how this works in action. Picture a quiet, vast desert. This is where Muslim civilization started. And here's the really surprising part. It didn't begin with an army or political power. It started with nomadic tribes and a message that built an incredibly strong sense of asabiya, that secret glue, among the people. For years, there was no government system. Something much deeper was being built. Belief became a community, and that community became a structure. You see, a shared belief system transforms diverse individuals into an organized group, and that is the ultimate foundation for Umran. So what exactly are the building blocks of this structure? There are 5 specific pillars to a civilization. First, a belief system. Second, a way of learning. Third, a social structure. Fourth, an economic system. And finally, a form of governance. When these 5 systems connect and work together, something incredibly powerful and lasting emerges. But Ibn Khaldun noticed something else. While civilizations endure, the empires inside them act a lot like living organisms. They are born, they mature, and they eventually die. He mapped this out into a 120-year cycle, stretching over about 4 generations. The first generation is tough and builds the power, but by the time you reach the 4th generation, things look very different. Here are the exact mechanics of a society's downfall. First, the desire for luxury grows and people get way too comfortable. Second, because of that selfishness, asabiya, our secret social glue, starts to weaken. Nobody wants to share. Third, corruption and taxes increase to pay for those luxuries. And finally, the state becomes so weak on the inside that it collapses to an outside group. He brilliantly pointed out that, at the beginning of a dynasty, taxation yields a large revenue from small assessments. At the end, a small revenue from large assessments. Basically, he recognized that heavy taxes imposed just to fund a luxurious lifestyle completely crush the entrepreneurial spirit and speed up the collapse.
Now, while most empires fell in 120 years, there was one incredible exception. The Ottoman Empire survived for over 6 centuries. How did they beat the cycle? Well, by utilizing fiqh and the millah system, they preserved a pluralistic, multi-civilizational society. By letting different cultures live together peacefully and keep their unique traditions, they kept their secret glue strong for hundreds of years.
So why does a 600-year-old history matter to us today? Well, because of globalization, our world is totally connected. Understanding how intercivilizational relations work and how different cultures can thrive together is absolutely more important right now than ever before. Which brings us to a huge, crucial question for us today. Think about our modern countries, with all of our amazing technology and wealth. Are our modern systems truly connected to our values? Do we actually possess that deep asabiya, that genuine secret glue required to be a true civilization?
This explainer isn't just about memorizing names and dates. It's about understanding the journey of humanity. If we misunderstand what a civilization actually is, we misunderstand everything that follows. Seeing the massive difference between a fleeting empire and a deeply rooted civilization completely changes our entire view of history.
So, where do we go from here? In the next part of this series, we're going back to the very beginning. We're going to ask, what was the world like before Islam?